Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Firstly, big thank you to you all. It was beautiful coming back on board and getting all of those messages of gratitude and thanks. And it was just so beautiful and really always makes me feel so good about what I do. But I missed you all as much as you missed me, and I realized so much yesterday after doing the readings. I guess because you all write to me and tell me how much I've helped you, and I think if that is what I'm here to do, then that is what I'm here to do. All right. I'm not up to date on where I'm going to be or anything going forward, but if you do want personal readings with me, I am still doing personal readings. However, I will be starting work more or less full-time next week, so that will be more limited than what it was before, but it doesn't mean I'm stopping. So if you do require readings, life coaching, or any of those things with me, please let me know, because I have to now schedule you in a little differently. All right, so we're going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot, just the basic deck for this reading. I pulled out a couple of decks yesterday I haven't used for a while, so Rider-Waite always remains like my favourite cards, I guess. So we have the Devil card coming up first. Now, the Devil card does represent the sign of Capricorn, so it could be that you're a Capricorn watching this, which makes this reading probably a little bit more relevant to you. Now, despite the fact it looks like a bit of an angry card and people get worried and upset, and I was actually watching a movie yesterday and thought how often in movies these cards are, presented or represented quite negatively. The tarot wasn't meant to be negative, it's how people interpret. So the cards are just messages. When the Devil card comes through, the Devil card really represents all of those things that we do which are extreme, which are really, not good for us. It might represent gambling, alcoholism, it can represent addiction, pornography even. It just represents things that are taken to extreme. It can also represent being tied to something or linked to something, like as in an addiction, that is difficult to get away from. And it's obvious that in this particular reading that people are dealing with something at the moment that is difficult for them to let go of. The Devil for me represents everything that's ego. It represents that part of us that we relate to the world with that really is a false sense of who we are. If any of you have read Sigmund Freud, you would understand the id, the ego, and the superego. The ego is the face we show to the world. It's not necessarily who we are. And it's certainly not, like putting on that front and being kind to people even when you're feeling a bit cranky. It's not that sort of thing. The ego is something we've developed very early in life that protects us, or we think protects us from the world. So it might be the ego that stops you speaking up for what you want, or holds you back from doing what you want. You may listen to other people, you may take things personally, you may expect other people to do things the same way as you. All of those things are ego based. So when we see the Devil card coming up, it really is a chance for us to pay particular attention to how we see our world and how we're acting within it. So let's see what's coming next. All right, so what I'm feeling here with this Ace of Cups coming through is this need to let go of ego and self-love. So very often if we are in an ego state, say for example as a child you received a lot of messages about being not good enough, all the things that parents can say, name calling, all of those really sort of negative things, we can grow up feeling that's who we are, and that's where the ego comes in. So we adopt that as who we are. We're not necessarily being true to the person we feel like we are within. So I feel like here this is a case of, a case of self-love, letting the ego go. You have the Death card here. So the Death card talks about endings, new beginnings. Again, not a negative card at all. It talks about letting go of what was and embracing what is. So I feel like here we're being asked to let go of these ego things, embrace who we are, and change how we see ourselves. Perhaps you're seeing yourself in a very negative light instead of seeing yourself through the eyes of love. So the Death card talks about shedding something. Now there is some sort of invitation coming through here. And there is a brand new beginning with the Ace of Pentacles. So what I want to say, what I'm feeling here is there's an opportunity coming for you that in the past you may have not said yes to because of your ego. So for example, if somebody, and I always use astronaut, your parents told you you could never be an astronaut. You never be an astronaut. But as you grow up, you start to understand that you can be anything you want to be. You've just got to be able to love yourself enough to see that you can become what you want. And that's where the changes come. So I feel like here you may be getting that invitation, that opportunity. Somebody may be walking in and saying, would you like to be an astronaut? Like, it's that sort of energy. And from this, a new beginning is born. So I feel like here you're being asked to recognize the energy within you that's holding you back from having the life that you wanted to have. You know, this is the energy of, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, you know, other people are smarter than me, I'm less than others, that type of energy. But something here is coming in as an opportunity for you to see how to move away from what you've believed for such a long time and love yourself enough to be different. All right, Six of Wands, isn't that beautiful? See, this is the energy that's coming in after that. So there's some sort of victory here to be had by changing the mindset around who you think you are. The victory card talks about being recognized, being seen. Something is coming in that's being offered to you that's going to put you on the map here. I'm not really sure what it is for everyone. It may be something small for one person. It may be something great for the next. But whatever this is a personal victory here. This is about seeing yourself for the first time, but knowing that others have seen that potential within you. This feels good. We know we don't need validation from others. We know that it's not important that other people, show us our own value. We need to see this for ourselves. But it still feels good when other people recognize your contribution. All right, so we have the Nine of Wands coming through with the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. How beautiful. So I always think when I see this sort of energy here, that there is always this sort of feeling inside of you that, when you've sort of gone through a lot, that you never feel like you're enough. You never feel like you're good enough, or you never feel like you have enough to give. And, when you're in that energy, you hold yourself back from doing things, or hold yourself back from being whole and complete, because you're stuck in the energy of, am I enough as I am? And this energy here makes me feel like that whole looking for stability outside of yourself rather than recognizing what you hold within. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough, resources, whatever it is here. The universe is saying to you, you do have enough. You absolutely have enough. It was given to you at birth. It is your birthright. And what you're looking outside for here is within you. So you have the capability, you have the capacity, you just have to recognize it here. You have to recognize how to grow this within yourself so that you can access it on the outside of yourself. Yeah, there we go. Look, we have the Fool card coming through. On the card of victory, which is a really nice energy, and this Fool card is actually looking at the victory card. So there's a feeling of here, I have achieved this. Even though I thought I would never get there, I have achieved it. It might be just bringing in love for yourself. Maybe you've been waiting for a long time to sort of, meet someone or have love with someone. But how can you get that love unless you feel that love within yourself? All right, we have the High Priestess here with the Strength card. Major Arcana very often coming out on this row for me. And this is about building up your personal strengths and trusting your intuition. Sometimes what we do is we avoid doing things because of our fears. And that could be what the devil is representing here. Maybe you fear putting yourself out there because somehow or another you feel that if you, felt rejected, or if you were not accepted, then somehow or another that would be, you know, the worst thing in the world. But what happens if, you know, the rejection or the non-acceptance was only a small thing? Like some of the big people in our world that have made it so huge in our, you know, communities don't see rejection or not acceptance as being sort of closing the game. They see it as some way to launch into the next phase. You know, I always think of people like the guy that Colonel Sanders with the Kentucky Fried Chicken, who went to over 1,000 people, I think it was, to get his, and he was in his 50s, I think, by the time he got to that, to try and get his chicken recipe noticed. And everybody kept turning him away. So if we're fearing rejection and we're worrying about somebody not accepting us, then are we going to give up on the first hurdle? No, because victory is here. There's a brand new beginning here. But this is about trusting the direction you're being taken in. The direction you're being taken in may feel uncomfortable. Sometimes maybe the road is a little bumpy. But at the end of the day, you're going to achieve what you want to achieve here. There is a gift coming from the universe here. And this is really beautiful energy. The Queen of Cups over the High Priestess for me talks about, you know, really trusting who you are, really loving who you are, really accepting the person you were meant to be. And I mean, I've heard people say to me things like, that's never going to happen for me. I don't see myself that way. And they have a very negative sort of approach to it. But that in itself is showing your lack of self-love. So that is what you need to work on, or that is what you need to start working on, because you can't use that energy to fix other people if you're not in a good shape yourself. It's got to start with you. And this Strength card tells me that in order to reach this energy, this goal you have, or this way of being that you want to be, you've got to put in the love to yourself first. The universe is supporting you here. So somehow or another, you've got to see that where you want to go is possible. But you've got to trust yourself to get there. And even when you feel the doubts, even when you fear that things aren't going in the right direction, it doesn't matter. You push through it. You push through it. You see it as a hurdle, like you're running a race. Jump the hurdle to get to the winning post. There's always going to be hurdles. But if you back off and you go back into your shell and think it's all too hard, then all you're saying to yourself is, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't achieve something. And that's okay. But then perhaps look back at it later and realize that you can achieve it. You can do what you want to do. It's all possible. And look at that. There's the Wheel of Fortune. So I want to say to you here, you're being supported by everything around you here. You're being supported by your family, your friends, the universe. Everything is in support of you here. Everything loves you and wants you to step up. Your ego is the only thing holding you back here. Your own fears, whatever they are, they're holding you back. And the only way to get past them is by self-loving, by forgiving yourself, by allowing yourself the gratitude on a day-to-day basis to realize how lucky you are to be here, how lucky we are to have life. But the change has to be made. And I feel like here you're getting an opportunity for a brand new beginning, but you have to see it this way. This is an opportunity for you to either start again with something or to move forward on something that you never knew you could do. And this is the opportunity coming through for you here. All right, let's pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card. Oh, wow. We really are being a little stubborn today. Hey, there it is. Building blocks. Nice. So building blocks talks about doing things at a small pace, not sort of charging in and trying to do everything at once, becoming overwhelmed and then feeling like you can't do it with that sort of ego energy. This is about doing things in little steps, like you do when you're learning to walk. Children don't get up and start running. This is strong foundations and a beautiful work in progress. You have everything you need to cultivate an extraordinary life. This is a time when your focus needs to be on the foundations you build upon. Your work, your relationships, and your very being are underwritten by your values, ethics, morals, and core beliefs. Are they still true for you? Will they stand the test of time and serve as the solid grounding upon which you construct your life? This is the energy